Hey Zwifters, welcome back to another Zwift race analysis video, and today I'm going to be taking a look at Stage 2 Crit City race, and this is part of the Crit Club series that is taking place throughout the month of May, so you can hop in and do the same race that I did, just at a different time slot. And Crit City is one of my personal favorite courses, and I personally like the Downtown Dolphin version, which is the version that we're racing right now. And another thing to note is that I raced with Team Penvelo for Zwift Racing League, and there were quite a few of their riders present, but I was unable to message them to coordinate any attacks or anything like that because the chat is currently disabled for riders under the age of 16. Alright, now let's get on with the video. One last thing that I want to note is that I'm having a bit of trouble recording the race, so excuse me for the pretty poor video quality, and I'm going to try to speed it up when I can so it's a bit more viewer friendly, because right at the moment it is pretty choppy. So let me go ahead and speed up the clip. You can see here that I have a ghost power up, which is pretty much useless unless I'm going to be trying a breakaway, which I am not because my fitness level is currently pretty low and I don't have the stamina to do any sort of attack on this race. So I was kind of just hanging in with the group and seeing how long I could hold on. I wasn't even sure if I'd be able to hold on for the whole race. You can see here that my positioning leads me to get dropped, and that's one of the things I want to talk about in this video is positioning. So one of the things that's really tough is that if your fitness level is below the others around you, so if your FTP is, let's say, 3.7 watts per kilo and it is up to 4 watts per kilo for the category, some of the top riders are going to be holding around 4 watts per kilo, and those of you at a lower part of the category, such as 3.3 to 3.6 range, they'll probably have a bit of a harder time sticking with the group because of how quickly those riders are going. So really just holding on to the draft, and it'll slowly come to you as you keep on racing. And so one of the things that I recommend for kind of building your fitness and getting closer and closer to being towards the top of the category and being able to sit comfortably in a Zwift race is just racing more and choosing smaller races over the more popular primetime races. Primetime races, chances are you're going to get dropped like literally at the start, and that's what happened to me. But I started out with races with like 5 to 10 people in them, and I eventually made my way up to the top of category B, and I was able to race in races with well over 200 riders and comfortably sit in the pack. So 3 laps remaining at this point, and I've been getting ghost power-ups for I don't know how many laps, and it was just really annoying. But at least we're not getting plus power-ups, because that was always very annoying when I used to do the regular Crit City races almost every day. And you can see that I literally just got a ghost power-up and I trashed it because I just have no use for it in this race, and I want to make sure I actually get the chance to trash it, because in some of the previous laps I forget to trash it and I kind of just leave it there, and then once we go back through that checkpoint or that lap banner, I don't get another power-up, and that's purely because I didn't care to trash the power up and I completely forgot about it. So one of the big things about the Downtown Dolphin course is this big kicker right here, and this brings riders up to like 8 to 9 watts per kilo in the category B, and this is where most of the riders choose to use their power-ups. And honestly, I'm going to talk about power-up usage a decent amount in this video, especially with that finish. And one of the things that I really don't like is when riders all use their power-ups. Well, I actually do like it because it benefits me, but it does not benefit the rider who is using it. So a lot of riders get really worried that they're going to get dropped and they're not going to be able to hang on until the finish, so they instantly think to use their power-up in that final lap and approaching that finish. They use it up that climb, and that does more harm than good, in my opinion. This is all my opinion, just so you know. So if you have any of your own thoughts, please leave those in the comments below. And yeah, so I think that it's actually more worth it to put in everything you have going up the climb, just to stay with the group, rather than to use the power up and conserve a little bit of energy, because using the power up is going to give you a lot more benefit than just pushing harder and saving that little bit of energy that you have left. because regardless, your legs are going to be dead at the finish. It's just whether you have a power up or not that's going to make that little difference, because the difference between giving it your all on that final climb versus giving it your 90% and saving 10%, it's not going to be that big of a difference in my opinion. And you're going to find yourself still needing to push that extra power, because the power up can't necessarily save you. Oh, another thing that I like to tell riders when I'm talking about this course is that once you get to the top of that prime climb, don't just ease off and bring it down to 1 or 2 watts per kilo. That's not what you want to be doing. It's really worth it to just push that extra 5 seconds or so, and that'll allow you to get a really good positioning as you go into this ascent, because if you get dropped in this descent, it is a long chase back, and it is one of the most painful things to do, especially when you are so low off the back. So coming into this final lap, I'm going to slow it back down so I can give you all the details about what was going through my head in this final lap. Alright, so just over 1 mile left, and you can see here that some chatter's going on, and one rider did try to separate the group, and they're that rider from Team Draft in that red jersey, and they tried to split it up to try to make the race a bit more animated, so kudos to that rider, but it did not end up following through because everyone just ended up chasing. So as I was going into this final bit, I knew I had a feather power up, which is not ideally what I wanted. Ideally I wanted a draft boost over a feather, because I'm already pretty light and the feather does not make that big of a difference for me. So in this final bit, I was kind of like, I'm gonna need to save that feather power up until the finish, and that's kind of what I talked about earlier, because it is going to help me just go that extra bit, and I'm really going to try to do as little as possible on this climb, but also don't fall too far back, because I really don't want to be chasing in this final descent, because that'll just leave me to have hammered legs for the finish, and it'll be a huge disaster. You can see here just how many riders use their power-ups here. They could have been using that in the finish to help them win the race, and a few smart riders chose to save their power-ups, and they end up getting pretty good positioning in that finish. You can see here over the top of the climb, I continue to push to try to really get that positioning, bringing my power up to around 8 to 9 watts per kilo, and that helps me kind of lock onto the riders, but I did not quite do enough, and in hindsight, I really would have wanted to have been maybe 3 or 4 riders up the road from where I am at right now, and that would have allowed me to have better positioning going into that sprint, because you can see here that I was kind of playing catch up for the first 5 seconds of my sprint, which is not what I want to be doing. So right here, I activate my power up thinking, okay, it lasts a lot longer than it used to because of the recent changes, so I either got to go now or I'm not going to go at all. So you can see here that I'm just pushing everything I have right now. I know that I really don't have any sprint left, and right now, right here, I'm just holding on for dear life, thinking that if I could pull off 5th place, that'd be amazing, but I'm not keeping my hopes up at this point in the race. You can see that a few riders coming past me, and I just get passed right on the line there, and I settle for 9th place. Overall, pretty happy with that result considering how little I've been racing and riding recently, and I'll be back at Zwift racing for the next few weeks, providing more and more content, and I aim to release 1 video every day. Let me see how long I can keep that streak. I think I'm on 5 or 6 right now. If you're enjoying these videos, please leave a like and subscribe, and see you all next time. Ride on.